Well, here we are, another weekend. And we're at the home stretch of George Mueller. Today it's chapter 26 of what tomorrow will be the last chapter in the life of George Mueller, chapter 27. But we're not there yet. So, buckle your seatbelts, put your helmets on, get ready for the ride of chapter 26 in the life of George Mueller, brought to you by Moody Bible Institute.
We greet our friends everywhere with chapter 26 of To Ask No Man, the story of George Mueller's incredible adventure with God. This is another in a series, Stories of Great Christians, brought to you by the Moody Bible Institute of Chicago.
On January 6, 1870, George Mueller dedicated his 5th orphanage. It was by far the largest, and it completed the vast campus of immense brick buildings that covered Bristol's Ashley Downs. At last, George had achieved what he'd been working toward all his life. He could point to something big and say to the world, God did all this because somebody prayed. And he could now house and educate a grand total of 2,000 homeless children.
That's pretty amazing. 2,000 kids.
1 month later, Mary was dead. Mary, who had worked so pluckily beside him for almost 40 years. George and his daughter Lydia were left alone. Broken-heartedly, George preached Mary's funeral sermon. And a few months later, aware that he was getting no younger, he appointed as his eventual successor his friend Jim Wright. That year, Jim's wife died also. And then, in August 1871, Jim walked into George's study with a strange request. He told George that he had fallen in love with Lydia, and he asked if he might marry her. Jim admitted that both he and Lydia realized that George would be lonely after the marriage. But George interrupted Jim.
You and Lydia get married. Right away, as soon as you want. My blessings on you. I couldn't be happier.
George, Lydia's going to be so relieved. You know that you're sacrificing when you give her up.
Now you be quiet. I'll tell you something that will surprise you. Maybe I won't be so lonely as my daughter who says she knows me so well thinks.
What do you mean?
I mean that I have been doing some worrying myself about Lydia.
Oh, well, for a moment I thought that... Well, I know, George, you always thought that Lydia was lonely. Well, she was, but well, you don't have to worry anymore. But I don't see what this has to do.
This isn't what I mean.
Oh, really?
I was worrying how my Lydia would face things when she knew I needed her no more.
Didn't need Lydia? I don't understand, George.
Jim, for some little time already, I plan, I dream. What you tell me today makes up my mind.
Makes up your mind? What are you talking about, George?
Jim, I also will marry again.
I don't believe it.
Too old?
Oh, no.
Only 65. My wife, she will be much younger.
Younger?
Just 49.
Well, whom?
Miss Susanna Grace Sanger.
No.
You always liked Miss Sanger.
Oh, who doesn't? She's one of the most energetic, most dedicated women in Gideon Chapel. But you, her...
Just so, Jim.
We were feeling sorry for you.
God's good to you and me, Jim.
Yes, he is.
Here for 2 men, lonely without their companions. Here for 2 wonderful Christian women.
God bless you and Susanna, George.
God bless you and my Lydia, Jim. Well, Susanna?
Well, George?
That's all there is to tell. They took it very calmly.
I was afraid what Lydia'd think, what she'd say, but I never dreamed about them.
But you still worry, mind.
Lydia and Jim, well, they're different. But what will other people say?
Well, they can't say this, that George Mueller marries somebody he hardly knows.
Oh, you know, George, I was in my 20s when I first met you and Mary.
25 years. It's a long time.
Do you think folks will say, gracious, why is he marrying that dumpy old maid?
Dumpy?
I'm short and fat, George, and you know it. I never was pretty.
Oh, I suppose the worst they can say is George Mueller married somebody to work for him in his orphanages.
George, that isn't true, is it?
What do you think?
Well, I think I probably will spend a lot of time working in those orphanages, but I think folks will say eventually George Mueller married somebody just right for him.
How so?
George, you've been acting like an old man lately. You've lost your daring.
But Susanna, I'm not far from 70.
That's what I mean. You're only in your middle 60s. There's a difference. It's all the way you look at it.
Yeah, I have a lot of good years left to keep my orphanages organized.
That's just it, George.
What is?
You've narrowed your vision. All you see are those orphanages.
All, but Susanna...
There's a lot more to the world's needs than homeless children.
Naturally, but my life I've given to them.
Why?
Why?
Yes, why? What made you decide the orphans needed you more than anything else needed you?
Because they were here in Bristol, and I was here in Bristol. I knew God put them in my way, and...
God put them in your way. Oh, but there was a time when you prayed God would put a mission field in your way.
Oh, Susanna, it didn't work out. Do you know
No,
about
it didn't, and so you helped 5,000 orphans or more. But the rest of the world is still there, George, only you've forgotten about it.
Forgotten? I've never forgotten. What about the Scriptural Knowledge Institution and the tracts we send all over the world?
Go on.
I always contributed to missions, heavily.
That's the easy way.
What?
George, you've taken the easy way, and I'm not saying that for years and years you didn't have a real reason to. But those reasons are all gone now.
Gone?
Gone. Your daughter doesn't need you anymore. The orphanages have plenty of money coming in and a staff that can run things with or without you. And you don't even have a wife's health as an excuse anymore.
Susanna.
Now, George, if anybody asks why you married me, I'll tell them. I'll tell them that God sent you a healthy, energetic wife just in time to keep George Mueller from losing his great adventure with God.
Well, Susanna, there goes England.
Tell me, George, how do you feel now? A little like Paul?
Yeah, my first missionary journey. 9?
9. Your third.
Third?
Last year it was Scotland, wasn't it? That was a journey. And the year before that, all over England. Why, you've travelled more miles than Paul already.
So I have. And he was half my age.
Switzerland, Holland, the people there are going to hear a preacher like Paul, too.
Now, Susanna, sometimes I wonder if my nerve to preach at all, especially now with the interpreters. Even my German is rusty.
The gospel isn't. Thousands wanted to hear it in Liverpool. Don't forget that.
So I preached in the hall they built for Moody and Sankey. Never will I forget that.
Well, Mr. Moody can thank you for establishing a lot of his converts. Remember those people in York and Newcastle?
Now, Susanna. So we are off.
George Mueller takes the gospel back to his own country.
I hope my health holds up.
You said that last year. And then you went to Glasgow and preached 38 times in 36 days.
Did I?
I keep records, George. And one of these days you're going to be surprised to find out just how much God has used you for his glory.
May it always be that way. May he take me around the world, if it be his will.
Say goodbye to England, George. And come below. We can get some correspondence done before dinner.
The next year, 1877.
We think it quite an honor, sir, that you'd come this far west. Welcome to Salt Lake City.
We've read your books, Mr. Mueller, every word of them.
Indeed we have.
To bring me here, God grants a dream of a lifetime.
Then you will preach to us tonight?
Sir, I've preached all the way across the United States. But no place needs the gospel more than Salt Lake City. You couldn't stop me from preaching.
1 year later.
Senor Mueller, welcome to Barcelona.
You know me?
Senor Mueller, you're famous in Spain. It is you who begin the day school, see? The scriptural knowledge institution, see?
Yeah.
Oh, Protestant of Spain, oh, Senor Mueller. Come now, we visit the schools you began, see?
In 1879 and 1880,
Madam, I never thought I'd be homesick in the state of Massachusetts.
What makes you homesick about our school?
Your young ladies. They're very much like my Bristol orphans.
Oh, how's that?
Here I see them washing their own clothes, and this afternoon I see them cooking in the great kitchens.
Mr. Mueller, we believe that a Christian woman's education should be practical.
Just so. Yeah, my dear Miss Lyons, it will be an honor to address your young ladies in chapel tomorrow. I will tell them they make me homesick.
Oh, Mr. Mueller, you're the one who honors the young ladies of Mount Holyoke College.
Welcome to Amherst College, Mr. Mueller.
Thank you. Always I want to preach to students. When I was at the University of Harvard.
welcome to Yale, Mr. Mueller. The chapel's this way. When George was 75 in 1881,
12 hours on this road. I can't stand much more, George.
Kite says we are almost to Jerusalem. It's worth it, Susanna.
I know. Who would have guessed we'd find a German colony at Jaffa?
So good to preach in my own tongue again. Sehr gut. Susanna, here's Jerusalem. Look over there. The Mount of Olives.
Welcome to St. Petersburg. Rosher says welcome to the minister from Bristol.
1884.
India. Preached 19 times in Calcutta.
On to Darjeeling. Can you stand the heat, George?
Benares. That terrible idolatry.
Delhi next.
The next year,
Australia.
China.
Japan. 15 missionary journeys and almost 200,000 miles. Ah, my dear Susanna, God has been so good.
in 1890, George was preaching in Jabalpur, India, when
Letter just come, Sahib.
Thank you, boy.
What is it, George?
Just a post.
That's odd. I thought it came.
So this is something special.
Who's it from?
Probably an invitation to preach. Or it's signed by some missionary in Agra.
Oh, well, that's all. You can't do any more this month anyway.
Susanna,
What's wrong?
we must go home at once.
George, what is it?
They tried to reach us at Agra. This missionary got the telegram and...
Who tried to reach us?
Jim.
Jim. The orphanages. George,
No,
what?
not the orphans. This time it's Lydia.
What happened?
She's dead, Susanna. She's dead.
She can't be. She's only a young girl.
No, Susanna. Lydia's 58. 58. Not Lydia. The little girl with all the dreams. Not Lydia. Gone. Oh God, why haven't you taken me? Come, Susanna. We sail for home at once.
And so we conclude chapter 26 of To Ask No Man, the story of George Mueller's incredible adventure with God. This is another in the series Stories of Great Christians, which come to you transcribed from the Moody Bible Institute of Chicago.
like Jesus at Cana, water into wine. Even though it wasn't his time, he still honored his mom, and yet, what did the guests say? You know, most people put out the best wine first, but you saved your best wine for the last. What an interesting twist in the story as we come to the conclusion here. George already, 84 years old? And he picks up a second wife, much younger than him, 16 years younger. His daughter gets married and does have some time with Jim. He goes on 15 missionary tours. Pretty amazing chapter in his life, from caring for orphans and children locally to caring for the worldwide church as shepherd. And at the very end, we find that his daughter precedes him. Oh, that is tragic. Like he said, woe would it be me that you take first, Lord. I think the hardest thing a parent walks through in this life is the loss of their daughter or son before them. It's almost unimaginable. Feels unbearable even. Yet the Lord said he would not give us more than we could bear. Well, to find out chapter 27, which is the final chapter in George's life, as I do believe he's probably getting to the end too, where the Lord takes him home. You'll have to tune in tomorrow and listen to it. And if you do, then I do look forward to seeing you. Lord willing, Lord tarrying, of course, keeping me around, keeping you around. Until then, may the adventures of George Mueller and his inspiring faith to follow the Lord be with you.